and welcome to the Sip and Stitch podcast. My name is Brittany, and I am coming to you from Houston, Texas. This is a podcast about knitting and general fibery craftiness, and you are watching this from the perspective of a beginner knitter, because I've only been knitting a little over a year now. So, yeah. Welcome. If this is your very first time coming and checking me out, I imagine we've got quite a few new viewers just because of some exciting things that we've got going on in the group. And welcome back for any returning viewers. I greatly appreciate you coming back and spending some time with me. I really greatly enjoy doing this podcast, and I'm glad y'all enjoy watching it. So welcome, everybody. Glad to stop by. Places you can find me on the internet. I am on both Ravelry and Instagram as dflyb. That's D as in dog, fly, and B as in boy. I also, all the show notes can be found at sipandstitchknit.blogspot.com. I also tweet occasionally under Sip and Stitch Knitter, and we have a Ravelry group, Sip and Stitch Podcast. So check them all out. Just a little bit about what we've got going on today, and as always, I'm looking over here because this is where my show notes are. I've got some works in progress to share with you. No finished objects because I've been knitting pretty monogamously on one particular work in progress. I have some acquisitions, some group news. We've got the drawing for the Challenge Yourself Knit Along that we just concluded at the beginning of March. So I've got the prize drawings for that. Talk a little bit about the knitting games, the epic knit along that I'm co-hosting with Melissa from the Spicy Homemaker podcast. I've got some just general craftiness to talk to you about. I've been doing some crafts outside of knitting, so I kind of want to share those with you. And then just some general blather and some new podcasts I've been watching. So let's go ahead and kick things off with works in progress. Alright, I've got a couple of works in progress to share with you, and if I am squinting at the camera, it's because I should be wearing these, but the glare was killing me, so I am trying to be blind. Let's see how long that lasts. I might have to just say screw it and people show y'all some glare, but anyway, I'm trying. Sorry if I'm like, I have pretty bad vision and rely pretty heavily on my glasses and contacts, but my contacts were not cooperating today. Anyway, works in progress, that's what you're here for, the knitting stuff. Let's see, which one should I start with? Because I have a couple over here for y'all. Let's start with, I cast these on last night, and they are my first pair of man socks. I normally knit socks for, well, mostly myself, to be honest. Also will knit for, like, the other women in my family, but we're all, like, a size, like, my cousin has the smallest feet, and she's, like, a 5, but we are all right around, like, size 6, size 7, so super small women's socks. But I am making some man socks for the very first time, and I just cast these on last night, so there's not very much to them. I'm doing these my usual, what is now going to be, well, currently is my obsession, which is 2 at a time magic loop. And I'm just doing these as plain vanilla because I'm using a pretty variegated yarn, and I really want to show off the yarn. I did do a contrasting cuff, and I'm going to do a contrasting heel and toe. So, but this is actually, I did a different cuff than I normally do. Normally I do a 2x2 rib, but I wanted this to look a little bit cleaner. So I did a 1x1 twisted rib, and I'm super excited with how that turned out. It was kind of murder on my hands, and to be honest, a lot slower than what I'm used to, but yeah. And then I got a couple of rows in on the stockinette section with the normal. The contrast is being done with this, which is kind of like my go-to for contrasting heels and toes and such. This is Cascades Heritage Sock, and let's see what colorway. Well, they don't name them, so it's color 5660. It's kind of this dusky light blue. And the main body is going to be with this. And y'all haven't seen this come out of my stash because I actually just bought this last weekend. But this is Malabrigo Sock in the Playa colorway, and this is one of my favorite sock yarns. It doesn't have any nylon to it, but it still like wears very well. Like I have a pair of socks that I wear quite regularly that I knit out of Malabrigo sock, and I have not had any problems with them not wearing properly. I mean, I do hand wash them, but I've worn them in boots and I've been walking on them all day and haven't had any problems whatsoever. So I feel pretty confident that the recipient of these is going to take care of them. So that's whip number 1. Oh, I also wanted to apologize for the audio issues. I got everything ready, sat down to record, and realized that I had left my lavalier microphone on since I last recorded, so the battery is completely dead. And it's one of those like little like teeny circle ones that you actually have to buy a new one. So we are relying completely on the camera microphone today. So if I sound shouty, it's because I don't know how this is recording. I did do some test shots and played on my computer and it was plenty loud, but we'll see how this goes. I really hope that I don't sit here and record an entire episode and then you can't hear me. So in advance, apologizing for the audio. I'm a little scattered today, can you tell? I'm doing a lot better than I was last week when I recorded, but I still am a little scattered. That's not a whip. Okay, this is, this whip, it's been a labor of love for me. This is my featherweight cardigan, and I originally cast this on forever ago. Like, October maybe? I don't know. And I just couldn't get going on it. And I thought about it, and I really, really wanted to make it, but I think I wasn't in love with my needles. I talked about it a little bit last episode that Hiya sharps are just not my thing. I don't like them. They're not, I know that they have their like hardcore lovers, so not knocking the needle at all. I'm sure they're fantastic, but they're just so freaking sharp that I'm tired of poking myself. And with this, it's all stockinette, so I needed something that was a lot more comfortable to knit. So I actually completely frogged my sweater, which was okay because I only had like this much done, and put away the Hayas and went to my local yarn store and picked up some Addi Turbos. That's my needle. I love them. I also like Carbons. Carbons are a little bit more expensive, and I don't really like the join on the circular, so I pretty much prefer them for DPNs, though I do have a sock project going on their circulars right now. But anyway, Addies they're my jam. So I cast the cardigan back on from scratch. When did I do this? Sometime last weekend, I think. And I've been knitting pretty monogamously on it. So I've got a lot done now. If you're not familiar with the pattern, it's knit from the top down, and then you divide for sleeves. So I've already divided out my sleeves and working on the main body of the cardigan now. So I've got quite a bit of this done. I haven't tried it on just because of the way I did my scrap yarn. Like I tied in a circle, so my arms won't fit through there. But I mean, I'm sure I can try it later. But anyway, so I've got probably to about like mid shoulder blade done, and I want to make this a little bit longer, covering maybe halfway over my rear. So this is gonna be going for a long time, and it's all stockinette. So yeah. Anyway, I'm very, very, very excited with how much I've gotten done on this. Like every time I knit a row, I roll it out. I'm like, oh my god, look how much you've done. And this is also my first sweater, so I'm really excited to be doing this. Excuse me. I'm knitting this out of Pearl Soho's line weight, and the colorway is ice blue, I believe. I don't want to dig for the tag. We'll just say it's ice blue. It is a single ply, light fingering weight, and I believe it's 100% merino, if I'm not mistaken. When I bought this, I bought 3 skeins because each skein has about 470 yards on it. I'm still in the first skein. I'm still in the first ball, and I've knit this much. So it's kind of scaring me that I still have 2 more full balls that the pattern calls for. I really, at this point, honestly cannot see myself knitting through all 3 balls. I doubt that that's going to happen. I'm thinking maybe 2. But I don't know. Again, it's my first sweater, so weird things can happen. I can start chewing up yarn really quick. Who knows? But yeah. So I've got 2 more full balls, and I've only made it not even half of this one. And you saw how much I've got. So we'll see. Oh, I also wanted to mention this little progress keeper. Isn't it adorable? Come on, focus. There we go. It's a little pine cone, and this Amber from the Yarn Junkie podcast sent this to me, and it was just so freaking cute. I was like, that's gonna go in my featherweight. cute. Thank you, Amber. Anyway, featherweight. Super excited about how this is going. And this one's been living on my side table. That's the one I pick up and just work on when I'm just sitting there watching TV. And this is living in a project, like really my first real project bag I ever bought from Full and Vine Yarns. Kristen over at the Yarngasm podcast. I bought this one time in a Jaskora bag during her shop update. So living in here and working on it tirelessly. My next whip is I finally started my Cozy Memories blanket. I mentioned it last episode. I was part of the Bohemia Fibers mini skein thingy that Melissa at Spicy Homemaker was doing. So I was part of the first one. And so I ended up with 20 minis, and I was like, you know what? It's time. And plus, I have a ton of minis. So, yeah. So I started on it. I've got 6 full squares done, and I'm working on another one. Now for the pattern, and a lot of people, podcasters lately, have been talking about like which cozy memory pattern they're doing. So I figured I would go ahead and mention the one I'm using. Kemper at Junk Yarn kind of wrote up her recipe, I guess, for a Cozy Memories blanket. It's been a month or so now, and I saw it, and it seemed really easy, so I followed that. And it's mitered squares, all joined, super easy. I did not really pay attention to what side I was picking up on the very second square, so one of my squares is going one weird way. Actually, here, you can kind of see it. So this one is pointing this way, and then every other one is pointed that way. So I'm not really a perfectionist. In fact, the nature of this quilt to me means like it should be random. So I don't care. I'm not going to fix it. But yeah, so I've got that, and all of these minis are mostly from the Bohemia Fibers thing. I picked up a couple of just like random little mini skeins at a local yarn store. So if I like run out, I'll figure I'll put those in. I should turn off my ice maker. But for right now, they're just kind of there. And so I'm really excited about working on that finally. And that actually brings me to another point that I wanted to make. I have a lot of minis left over from projects that I've done. But one thing I really like about the Cozy Memories blanket project is that you're getting minis from other people. So it's like the friendship aspect of it. And especially since I've been podcasting, I've managed to make quite a few awesome friends in the knitting community. So I would really like to be able to have a little piece of all of y'all in my blanket. So in that vein, I'm opening myself up for swaps. I just did my very first swap ever for the Podcasters Valentine's swap. I swapped with Vero from the Along the Lanes podcast. If you haven't watched her, you need to. She got her package a couple of weeks ago and has already shown it off. And then mine was taking so long. And she's over in England, so I knew it was going to take a little bit longer. And she was starting to get concerned. And then all of a sudden my package showed back up in her mailbox. So we're having a little bit of a shipping issue, but she's sending it back out to me. Anyway, just did my first swap and had a lot of fun with it. So I really want to do more. So what I'm opening it here. I want to swap. If anybody's interested with swapping with me, reach out to me on Ravelry. I'm totally down. I spent some time the other day going through and minifying all of my leftovers. So like you can see, I got a lot. And I got lots of like really good yarns and stuff in here. Kind of start poking. I want to share the love, and I had so much fun doing my first swap. So if you want to swap with me, send me a message on Ravelry, and I'm also going to open up a swap thread in our Ravelry group because I think it would be cool if we could do our first ever Sip and Stitch swap. So if anybody wants to like join in a swap, I'll manage it, figure out who all's going to be assigned to everybody, do all that madness. Just post in the thread, hey, I want to be involved in a swap, and I'll work out all the details and talk about it more. So, yay, we're going to do a swap. That is it for works in progress, right? Yeah. I'm kind of calling this a work in progress. It's more of an acquisition, and this is not knitting. I mentioned a couple of episodes ago that I really wanted to try cross stitch again. Mostly inspired by Allie over at Get Lit and Knit. She's been working on this really funny Kanye cross stitch pattern. So, but like, okay, I wanted to try it with a cheapo kit from, I used to cross stitch forever ago when I was a kid. So I know how to do it, but I wanted to pick it up again with the cheapo kit instead of like spending a whole bunch of money on some like crazy thing and decide if I still liked it before I really committed. But so I was looking at like Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and all of theirs. I mean, they're cute and sweet and stuff, but like nothing I would really want to hang in my apartment or give to anybody. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I'm a hilarious person, but I like to think I'm kind of funny, and I like the sayings, like the one that Allie's doing. It's like, it's a picture of Kanye West and it says, "Love yourself like Kanye loves Kanye." Like something like that really appeals to me. So the other day I was at Joann's and they had a whole new display of cross stitch patterns. It wasn't back in the cross stitch section. It was on like an end cap and sewing, but it was all funny ones. And so I picked this one, and I hope this is looking at you the right way and not backwards, but whatever. It says, "I can't adult today," and it's all pretty. That really describes me. So I bought that, and last night I was like, I'm gonna start this, and I unpacked it, and I was like, no, I'm not tonight. So I've got it all unpacked and in a bag, so it's not really a work in progress, it's kind of an acquisition. I wanted to go ahead and share that now. So we'll see how far I get on that before. It's gonna be a labor of love, because it's not my main craft, it's just something I kind of wanted to play with, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I believe that wraps it up for works in progress. I haven't gotten any progress done on my across the pond shawl or on the pink socks I showed last episode. It's not that I lost interest in them, I've just really been focused on my featherweight. Okay, so I don't know where my camera just cut off, so I hope I'm not repeating myself too much. My camera just had a brain fart. I have no idea what just happened. But anyway, yeah, so that's it for whips. No progress on my across the pond shawl. No progress on my pink socks. I've just been really monogamous on my featherweight because I have a work trip coming up in a couple of weeks that I'm probably being incredibly ambitious here, but I would really like to be able to wear that on this trip. So yeah, I've been really monogamous on that, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's it for whips. I'm gonna go ahead, no finished objects, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to acquisitions, otherwise known as, I forgot I was on a yarn diet. Alright. Alright, moving on to acquisitions. Again, otherwise known as, I forgot I was on a yarn diet. I fell off the yarn buying train, wagon, pretty hard the last couple of weeks. And in fact, I'm only showing you some of it. I have a couple of skeins that I'm gonna hold off and wait until maybe next episode. They're nothing really super exciting. Just something, I was kind of bored last weekend and decided to do my own little yarn crawl, which I should have come up with something else to do last weekend rather than do that. So I was checking out a couple of local yarn stores I hadn't been to, and just, you know how it is, you go to a local yarn store, and even if like there's something that just, because every once in a while it can be a little hit or miss. I'm sure like there's certain areas that are like really big into knitting that like everyone is awesome, but some local yarn stores can be kind of hit or miss down here, and one of them that I went to was really awesome. So I had really high hopes for the second one because it's in a much nicer area of town, and they just didn't have the stuff that I wanted. They had a lot of Noro, which I've never knit with, and just touching it kind of hurts my fingers, so I don't think I would enjoy it. A lot of Regia, that kind of stuff. And they mostly had like DK and worsted weight, and y'all all know I am a major sock knitter, so it just wasn't my stuff. But I felt like I had to buy something, so I did. Still managed to spend some money there, but it's some significant money. But it wasn't just stuff I'm super excited about and stuff that, you know, is going to be a much later project. So I'm sharing with you the stuff that I am super excited about. I went to my closest local yarn store, which is kind of my haunt, last week when I was on like the tail end of my cold and just really needed an upper, so I went in there and I bought this. Yeah. Now this is by Biscott Yarns. It's their Bis sock base, and it's a self-striping. So I bought this to make my grandmother some self-striping socks, because I am still in the hole on Christmas presents, so I got this to make those. And then I picked up this at another store, and this is the Heritage Sock Yarn Cascade, which is like my go-to for toes and heels. And this is just kind of like a, they're calling this snow. It's kind of an off-white color. That's going to go here, and then I know I'll use this on other stuff because it's a pretty normal color. I also picked up that Malabrigo sock that I showed you for my man socks, plus that contrasting color I bought that on my little yarn crawl this weekend. But anyway, with these, and I got this. This is from the closest yarn store to me. So, actually, I have a funny story. The closest yarn store to me is still about a 20-minute drive, but it's in a suburb of Houston called Katy. And the way I get there is kind of a back road, sort of, but not a really back road. It's an alternative to I-10, which is traffic hell. So I was driving back at about 4:30, which I knew I didn't want to get on I-10 that time of day. So I took this little back road, and all of a sudden the traffic just comes to a stop. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So, you know, people start peeling off, and I finally get to like right behind the trailer car for like, you know, the truck that has its lights on that's trailing something. And I look, and it is like 6 horses pulling covered wagons. And I'm thinking, this is Houston. What the heck are covered wagons and horses doing on a main thoroughfare? Like, what is going on? So I texted, I'm basically a stop, guys. I'm not really super driving. My cousin and her husband, we have like an ongoing group text. I was like, okay, guys, what is going on here? And I sent them a picture. And they were like, you got stuck behind the trail ride. This is the week, it started, I believe, Monday, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is like a huge event in Houston. And apparently, I have come to realize now, because this is my first rodeo season actually living in Houston, that from like all like 5 areas of like the country around us, these trail rides start out there and ride into the city, and then there's a big parade to NRG Stadium where the Houston Rodeo is. So, on my way home from the local yarn store the other day, I managed to become a part of Houston tradition. It was really funny too, because I was the car like right behind the trailer car, so I'm basically in the parade at this point. And there's all of these people lining the street waving. So here I am sitting in my Prius like, hi guys! Like, I thought it was hilarious, but anyway, thought that was a funny little aside. And I told my cousin, I was like, I'm on the way back from the yarn store, and she's like, I thought you were trying not to buy yarn. I go, yeah, I'm being punished. Anyway, the main reason that I went there is because I still needed one more skein for a prize giveaway for the Challenge Yourself knit along that I'm drawing for in a little bit. And so I went in there for that and got myself something, but then I also picked up this. And this is Sweet Georgia Yarns, and they're Superwash DK. It's 100% superwash wool, and it is in the prettiest colors that I've probably ever seen in my life. And I really wanted to get this for a giveaway, and I really wanted to keep it for myself, so I bought 2. Bought one for y'all and one for me. So, whoever gets it, maybe we can make matching, like, I think mine's going to be a hat, so maybe we can have little matching hats. How fun would that be? Anyway, so I got that. And then a couple of, God, it's been almost a month now. Laura from The Fawn and the Fox, she has a podcast, plus she has an Etsy shop where she sells hand-dyed yarn and project bags. She had posted this project kit on Instagram that she was selling, and I was like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. Well, Amber at the Yarn Junkie commented on it. She was like, I just ordered one. And I wanted to be fun and cool too, like Amber. So I bought one, and it just got here today. I'm super excited. So this is the new project bag. It's pretty, has like, kind of like garden, little pot gardens. And then it came with, it was a kit, so it came with a skein of This is her fawn base, which is a fingering weight, 180% superwash merino, 10% natural unbleached cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's a little short, it's 380 yards, but God knows that's going to make a pair of socks for me. And this is going to be socks. They're going to be really nice cashmere socks, but it's going to be socks. And this is her terrarium base. And she's been talking about this a lot and has been posting all kinds of pictures of things that she's made with this. And now I'm super excited that I got some too. So that's that. I also have more yarn coming. Another reason why I got after my featherweight so hardcore was because Madeline Tosh posted a picture of a new sweater pattern on Instagram the other day, and it's saying to me that I need to make this. But I'm like, how can I justify making another sweater when I can't make my featherweight? So I was like, I'm going to make a whole bunch of progress on my featherweight, and then I can buy the yarn to make this sweater. I basically cast on my featherweight and then bought the yarn to make the other sweater too. So that actually, according to USPS tracking should be here today, but I just checked and I put my apartment number wrong. So I need to go talk to my neighbors and double check that they won't steal my yarn. Pretty sure they won't, because that's just rude. And who but a knitter wants 4 skeins of Madeline Tosh? So yeah, and I might have a little bit of inset there, but that's coming. And then I also bought a project kit from Gabby at Aponicorgi. So that's coming. And I'm going to stop buying yarn now. Like, really. I need to stop. Yeah, okay, for real, I'm going to stop. Yeah, so acquisitions. Had quite a few. Again, forgot I was on a yarn diet. We're going to go ahead and end that there and move on to group news. All right, moving on to group news. First off, I'm going to go ahead and open up the swap thread after this post, so if anybody's interested in joining our first ever swap, I'll go ahead and put that there. And if anybody just wants to swap with me personally, again, message me. Cool. I will probably also participate in the... I will participate in the group swap anyway, so what else? Anyway, opening that up. And then the big news is that the Challenge Yourself Knit Along ended on Tuesday morning at 12 a.m. So I went ahead and locked the thread. I squeaked in. I didn't lock the thread till like noon or something like that on Tuesday. So thank y'all all for being honest and not posting anything after that. I was a little delayed. So I want to go ahead and draw for the prizes. We had a prize for the chatter thread as well as the finished objects thread. Chatter thread, I'm torn on which one's going to go with which. They're both awesome. You know what? This one's going to be chatter thread. This is a local Texas hand dyer. It's Texas dyed wool. It's hand dyed in Austin. And this is a fingering. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards, and all kinds of pretty colors. And I'll tighten this skein up a little bit so it doesn't get tangled in the shipment. And of course, like I'm sure Amanda, who won our last giveaway, can attest, I'll throw some other goodies in there because I like to give stuff. So we had 37 posts in the chatter thread, so random number generator, and this might take a couple of tries because I chatted also in the chatter thread, so if I draw myself, obviously I'm going to redraw because I really like this, but I bought this as a prize. I'm not going to keep it. Alright, let's see. First one is post number 7. Let's hope that's not me. It is not. It is Sif Leaf is her username, and she did mosaic knitting, I believe. And what is her real name? Siv in Norway. So Siv, shoot me a Ravelry message, let me know that you know you won and your address, and I will get this and some goodies in the mail to you. Now let me go back to the finished objects thread, which is going to require some clicking. Sorry, guys. And we had a lot of really awesome stuff in the finished objects thread. Like, I'm super impressed with the challenges that people took upon themselves. And we've got people that, oh, that's knitting games finished objects. Where's the other one? Oh, there we go. We got people who tried the socks for the first time, crazy cool color work. Civ did the mosaic knitting. It was super exciting. People, somebody designed their own shawl. I mean, crazy awesome stuff. So I'm super, super impressed. The whole goal of this was to step outside of your like knitting comfort zone and come up with some new stuff. So very, very impressed with everybody's. We had somebody that like knit a toy out of, I believe, their own hand spun. Let me see. No, in her hand spun, but man, she did eyelasher and all kinds of fun stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm super impressed, everybody. Great stuff. We had a total of, looks like 16. So let's pop that into the generator and see who won that. Oh, and the prize for that is going to be the Sweet Georgia that I showed off earlier. Again, this is a Superwash DK. And again, I'll probably throw some other fun goodies because I like doing that kind of stuff. True random number generator from random.org says result 10. So number 10, let's see who that is. Number 10 is Kiki Lucy. And she did German short rows for the first time. She made a really cute shawl with all kinds of neat, she's got some color work and all kinds of neat stuff in here. And that would be Shelly from Canada. So Shelly, shoot me a Rav message, let me know you won, and I will get this in the mail to you. This was a whole lot of fun, guys. I really enjoyed doing a knit along. So there's definitely gonna be more in the future. Look out for that, but we've got the most epic knit along ever going on in our group right now, so make sure you're participating in that. And that makes a really good segue, so let's move on to our current recurring segment, the knitting games. Alright, back with the knitting games, and I was tired of squinting, so you're getting glasses now. And sorry if you've got glare. My apologies, but I was getting seriously blind. It was starting to hurt my head. The knitting games officially opened on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. I opened up the finished objects thread in my group, and we've already got one in there, so get to knitting. I went over the rules in detail last episode. They're in a thread in the podcast group, as well as a thread in Spicy Homemaker, Melissa's podcast group, because we are co-hosting this. So if you have any questions, refer to those. Feel free to ask questions in that thread. I'm not going to go over them in detail again because I did last episode for about 20 minutes, so I think we're good there. Melissa threw out one of our first crazy cool things on her last episode, so if you haven't watched, do it. Powerball. It was really kind of neat, and it's going to be ongoing. Sorry if anybody's tuned in today just for a Powerball question. I do not have one for you because it's going to be crazy and random. But anyway, the idea there is she asked a question. She asked where her friend Amy was from that was co-hosting with her. And since the time has already passed, I can tell you she's from Rhinebeck. Lucky, lucky gal every October. And Melissa gave you an hour to answer. And if nobody answered. So the prize, which was a skein of Zia wools of your choice, moves into the next one. So somebody, maybe Melissa, maybe me, who knows, we're crazy and random, is going to ask a question next time and it'll probably be more than an hour, probably like 3 or 4 hours. And first person to answer gets the prize from the Zia wools plus the new prize. So it's like the real Powerball gets bigger and bigger. Okay guys, I am so sorry for all the cutting and pasting that this episode is going to turn into once I get to editing, but my camera is just being stupid right now. Well, it just kicks the card, it keeps saying card full, but I have a 64 gigabyte card, there's only 4 gigabytes worth of stuff in there. But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. Knitting games. Melissa already did the Powerball, question 1. I'm not doing one today. But keep a lookout, keep watching, keep subscribing, because that's when you're going to get the notice that our videos go up first. So you're going to get an even better chance to win stuff. So go for it. We also have the Swants challenge going on. I am super behind on that. But yep, we're doing that with Abby and Allie from Get Lit and Knit and Gabby from Once Upon a Corgi. All 4, 5, 5 of us are making swants, and we're going to judge them. I talked about that a lot last episode, so I won't bore you with it again, but it's going to be so much fun. Look for that thread to open up in Abby and Allie's group, the Get Lit Knit podcast, as well as there's going to be a thread in Gabby, the Once Upon a Corgis podcast. We get to win stuff. You get to win stuff. It's going to be awesome. So pay attention. Then we're also going to open that up for viewers to make some of these crazy things. So that's going to be cool. Melissa also started the first viewer challenge in her group when she launched it with her latest episodes. Go back, check it out if you haven't already watched. The thing is, we're doing the first 10 people to contact her. I don't know if she has any left, but it's worth a shot. Get a copy of the Bubblegum Socks pattern, which is this really cute lacework sock pattern. And the first person to post a completed pair of Bubblegum Socks to Melissa's group wins, I believe it was a skein of yarn and a project bag and a stitch marker. So check that out if you haven't already. That's our first viewer challenge. So go for it. Again, knitting games. It's not just a knit along. It's all kinds of random stuff. So check that out. Again, post all your finished objects in the finished object thread in my group. It's the only way we're judging them. So if you haven't done it that way. Again, we already have one posted. I haven't not judged it, but given it awarded points yet. So sorry, I'll get that done like today or tomorrow. And that's it for the knitting games. So let's go ahead and move on to blather and general craftiness that I've been up to, because I've been doing a lot more than just knitting this week. Alright, titling this section craftiness and general blather, because I'm going to go ahead and talk my new other crafting and then just blather about my life and new podcasts and stuff at the end of this. So, first off, I showed off some yarn that I dyed myself last episode, and I did it again this week. Spent all night Tuesday night dyeing yarn. It was funny. I bought like plastic drop cloth and put it over like all my cabinet space and the walls and stuff, because I actually got dye on the walls. I'm not a neat person. I'm a neat person. My house is generally clean, but like I apparently got dye everywhere. So I didn't want that happening, because that was not fun to clean off the walls, and this is an apartment. I didn't want to have to, I'd like my security deposit back when I move out. So anyway, put plastic wrap everywhere, and then I had like my dust mask and my gloves. And I sent a picture to my sister. I was like, no, I am not Dexter. I am dyeing yarn. I thought it was funny. Anyway, showed it off some last week, and I dyed a whole lot more this week. I'm addicted, guys. This is so much fun. If you've never dyed yarn, give it a shot. If I can do it, you can do it. It's so much fun. I pretty much stuck to immersion dyeing this time, but I looked up some different techniques because I wanted to figure out how to make speckles. And so I watched Nicole at Hugh Loco has a couple of dyeing tutorials, and I watched hers and got a lot out of them on some different techniques. So followed those and did some over dye. So let me show off what I did. First off, this one, and again, I'm not necessarily doing this because I want to sell it. I'm just having fun at this point. Maybe down the line if I come up with some really crazy stuff, but I'm just having fun at this point and making stuff that like I know I'll want to. Again, I should have shut off the ice maker, but making stuff that I know I'll want to knit with. So this is my first one, and I myself have named this Miami Vice. You can see it's like hot pink and teal and white, and I haven't reskeined this. When I reskein it, it's going to look a lot different. And this actually has stellina in it, this particular one, so you can see a little bit of the glitter in it. So I'm calling this one Miami Vice, and I dyed up. Melissa was like, hey, what you should do is you should break down a skein of yarn in a whole bunch of minis, and that's going to make it to where you're not screwing up a bunch of skeins of yarn while you're playing. And that sounds great in theory, but I'm really bad at making minis, as I've shown off before. So I lost like 40 yards worth of yarn to a tangled mess. So, yeah. So I had like 3 workable 20 gram minis. So I made a couple, and I made some, if I make this into socks, I've got some yarn for some contrasting heels and toes. Made some hot pink. That's fun. This one, For some reason I want to call this blue jeans, but it's got purple in it too. I don't know. But then I also made a little contrasting purple. Got that. And then this one, which if y'all know me, you probably would think this is my favorite because it's got my favorite color in it, seafoam green. It's pretty, nice and light and fluffy, and I think this would be a pretty shawl. This one's got stellene in it too. But this one's not my favorite. This one is. It's avocado green, gray, white. I did some speckles. Super excited with that. Yep. And it's got a little mini too. This is my favorite. Love it. Took a picture of this while it was cooking and posted it on Instagram. Beautiful. And this one, I don't have a nickname for these two. Maybe Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's Tiffany blue. Guacamole. This one, though, this one makes me think of Wicked, like the Broadway musical, and a falba. I think I'm going to call this a falba. And this one, when I first cooked it, was really, really bright. Really, really dark gray. Really, really bright green. I thought it was ugly. I actually sent a picture to Melissa and was like, not what I intended. So I threw it back in the dye pot with some gray, and it muted it out, and now I love it. So that's that one. Calling that one a falba. This one was an overdye from last week's experiment. I just thought these were super bright and nothing I would ever knit with, and truthfully I still don't know if I'll ever knit with this one. And it got a little felty, so I'm not sure how I love this. But it muted out the colors a lot more. Kind of like that. It doesn't have a name. Kind of like retro Superman up here. Maybe Superman. Who knows? And this is the clown puke of the week. Lots and lots of colors, and this one got overdyed too. Sort of, a little bit. Like I dip overdyed one end that I didn't like. Like this end was really bright, so I dipped that in with the gray when I was doing the other ones. This is actually a sport weight. When I ordered more yarn, because I was having too much fun ruining other yarn, there was like a sample pack for like super cheap with some sport weights, so I like sport. So maybe this will be a hat. But this is clown puke of the week. Anyway, I've had so much fun dyeing. So much fun. I need to like be a little bit more forethought about what colors I'm going for. Like this one was originally supposed to look like this. Not the same. So I need to plan this a little bit better instead of just like throwing yarn and throwing colors. Like I need to think a little bit more about the color combinations, so I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate in the future. Might take a week off from dyeing and really like think about my approach a little bit here. But yeah, anyway, that's what's going on there. Other craftiness, I showed off a half-finished tote bag that I sewed. I never finished that one, but I made some other ones. I made this little guy, the little handle, and this is still from that Craftsy class that I mentioned last time, the sewing basic bags. This has got my little pink socks in it right now. It's got a little zipper, and it's lined. Excuse the crinkling, the needle package is in here. So I've got that guy. And then I made this one. I'm super excited with this one. And I sort of kind of followed the tutorial that Nicole from Hue Loco put together. So you can look at it close. It's two different colors. Little zip. And then it's got this cute gold bird lining. And this one's actually holding my Cozy Memories blanket. So I've been having a lot of fun sewing lately, which is weird because I tried sewing before and I hated it, but now I love it. And I love making bags. They're so much fun. So I'm very impressed with myself on this. And it's got interfacing, but not like a super heavy, so it still flops a little bit, and I can like fold it up and throw it in my purse, which is the goal. Because that's how I roll. Like my mom said the other day, she was like, I think you really like knitting because it's so portable. Because like I was just chilling at her house and I'd taken my Cozy Memories blanket and just like busted out, and we're sitting on the back porch talking. I'm just like, she's like, I think you like to just be able to go anywhere with your knitting, and that's why you like it so much. Which is totally possible. Anyway, general craftiness, other things I've been doing. Blather, what's going on in my life? This weekend, I'm super excited to get some crawfish. It's crawfish season. Missed crawfish season last year. Not missing it this year. They're having a little crawfish boil hootenanny in my parents' neighborhood. So I'm going to go down there and eat me some mud bugs. Very excited about that. If you're not familiar with crawfish or the proper Texas, Louisiana way of eating them, you might want to Google it. It's pretty cool. They're amazing. Love them. And it's also really good social fun. You get a whole bunch of people together, crack it open, crawfish, sucking the juice out of the heads, eating the meat. It's so much fun. So I'm very excited about that tomorrow. Next weekend, I have a derby bout. My league has their second games of the season. It's a doubleheader. Unfortunately, despite my best efforts, I will not be drafting. A little bummed about that. Not a little, pretty bummed about that. But I've got another chance in May. I'm going to keep after it. This is my goal. This is something I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm not getting drafted next weekend. But I'm still going to the game. Still having fun because that's what all it is. And I want to support those of my friends that are getting drafted. So, got that going next weekend. Wanted to thank everybody who reached out and wished me well after last week's disaster of, well, not disaster, it was a pretty good episode, but all you could hear was and my voice sounded terrible. So thank you everybody who, you know, messaged me or posted something in the group and was like, please get better soon. Really appreciated it. I sounded a lot worse than I felt. It took me until probably like Thursday the last week to kick that stuff, but it's gone. Doing a lot better now. Still have a nasty cough, but whatevs, it's good. It'll be fine. It's that time of year for me. I always get, it's the first time I've gotten really sick in a long time, but my allergies kick my butt this time of year, so not anything totally crazy. Wanted to give a extra shout out to Holly. I blanked on her name last episode. It's AASV Mom is her Ravelry idea, and her real name is Holly. And she was like, how could you forget what my name was? It's your dog's name. I can't believe it. So I wanted to say hi, Holly, and get back to Houston soon. I'm so excited and so ready for our meetup. We've got kind of a group going now, so excited for that. Also wanted to mention a couple of new podcasts that I've been watching. Some of them have got, like all of them have got a pretty good following, but they're new to me. I've been on a bit of a podcast bender the last couple of days, so catching up and meeting new people, and that's been really fun. First one I wanted to point out is Pinhook and Needles, and that is Marlisha and Talia. And I hope I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. But they have been talking about the knitting games and such, and really, you know, helping me and Melissa out. And I sat down and watched y'all's last 2 episodes yesterday, and they are a lovely mother and daughter that knit together and crochet and make these cute animals. So check them out if you've never watched them. They have a ton of episodes, so I'm pretty sure you've heard of them at some point in time. But they're new to me. Also, Hugh Loco, Nicole. I know she's got quite the following too, and she hand dyes yarn, makes project bags, does all kinds of crazy stuff. New to me, but really enjoyed her. I binged on probably about 4 or 5 episodes, not to mention her tutorials the other day, so yay, Nicole. Also, finally got on the Grocery Girls bandwagon. Jody and Tracy, if you haven't checked them out, do it. They are awesome and funny. And it's Mrs. Brown's bags. Jody is Mrs. Brown's bags, so like she shows what's cool and going on in her shop too. So they're funny and they're sisters and they're really enjoyable. I'm really liking like the people that have co-hosts. Like I would totally like to have a co-host every once in a while. That'd be fun. As it is, like Holly doesn't talk, so well, my Holly, not Holly that I just gave a shout out to. She talks, but like my dog doesn't talk. She talks to me in my head. We have like a mind meld thing, but I don't know how entertaining she would be to y'all. But anyway, would love to have a co-host. So I'm super jealous of those of y'all that get to like host together. And the last one I wanted to mention, I just got into yesterday, and I don't know why it's taken me so long. She is like my soul sister, Jill over at the Knitting Broomstick. Huge Harry Potter nerd like me. And then I'm thinking, I know that username. She and I are both Hufflepuffs in the Hogwarts on Ravelry. Like she's one of our moderators. So that's super exciting, and her podcast is lovely, and she's funny. and she loves the same dyers I do. So if you've never watched Knitting Broomstick, do it. She's awesome. Just really wanted to give all 4 of those new podcasts a shout out. That's who I've been watching on top of my usuals this week. Yeah, so check them all out. And yeah, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think this is probably a shorter episode today, which is kind of exciting because the last couple have been a little long. But I'm blaming my camera issues because I'm watching this little ticker on my camera as I'm talking, and it's like keeps counting down, like how long until I have to stop again. So I'm gonna wrap it up now so we don't have to have any more splicing. Knitting games, play it. Podcast, subscribe to it. Check out everybody else that I've mentioned. I watch them, so they're awesome. And yeah, that's it. Again, if I drew your name for the Challenge Yourself Knit Along giveaways, please get in contact with me so I can get your stuff mailed. Might take a little bit longer since you're both international, but I will get it done. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up there. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It is Friday here, and I'm super excited for my weekend. Hope everybody else has a fantastic one, and I will catch you soon. Bye.